Welcome to our Rolemaster Actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order and Ain't No Place for a Hero are two campaigns, currently co-joined, set in the World of Duranarki, the continent of men. The game system used in our game is Rolemaster Classic, with a liberal inclusion of home rules. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favour. This is episode 89 of Twilight of the Old Order, and episode 67 of Ain't No Place for a Hero. The two parties are on a desperate quest to recover two more arcane lodestones, which they hope will lead to their escape from the strange, multi-dimensional place known as the In-Between. We pick up the story after a tough moral decision to leave the halfling to his fate, and the massive tentacled creature has vanished, leaving our heroes to ponder what to do next. Hello, I'm Chris, otherwise known as GM Chance, and we hope you enjoy our game this session. So, on the screen, up on screen now, you'll see that we have a really large collection of characters in this game. The reason being, if you haven't already picked up, there are two parties here. Two different stories, two different campaigns, two different tales which have been woven together. 6 characters in each. So I'm going to ask each of the players to introduce the either character or characters that they're playing tonight. So viewers of this channel, and thank you again for our viewers and increasingly our loyal viewers. So we really appreciate it and thank you again for the comments. We're getting lots of comments as well. That's great. If you haven't already, we'd love it if you could like and subscribe down below. Thanks very much. So for our regular viewers and for our new viewers to get to know the characters in this game, I'm going to ask each player to very quickly introduce who they're playing tonight. And we're kicking off this evening with Aiden.
Hi there, my name's Aiden and I'm playing Gray. He's a handsome and rugged half-elf. He's not great at talking, but he's very good with his axe and he's pretty good at some spells.
Marvellous. Thank you very much. Graham, who are you playing this evening, please?
Hello. I am playing 4 characters from the Twilight Party 7. A charismatic swordsman who is indeed quite handy with a sword. A hunter elf called Tenya, who is armed with a bow and pretty handy there too. On the other party from the hero party, I'm playing Niathanol, who's a magent who mixes arms, stealth, and magic together. Who's a bit psychotic, but not, you wouldn't know if you just met her. Etienne, finally, a holy warrior called a Genitrist, who is a half-elf on a mission from God, or rather a god, Aphrodite.
Excellent, thank you very much. Mason, who are you playing, please?
Hello, I'm playing Demos. He is a Theronic mixed man, very handsome, very large. He looks like he would kill you with one punch, and he probably could, but he's just a massive teddy bear with a spear.
Marvellous, thank you very much. Heading over to Anthony.
Again. Kia ora. I'm playing Escalion, or Escal for short, a tall half-elf warrior mage who comes from a port city, and his favourite weapon is his trusty cutlass, and his most frequent use spell is heal. Also tonight I'm playing Jada, who's a very tall, 6'7", very tall, and beautiful human Arab woman who's a lay healer, and definitely don't leave home without a healer.
For
And
sure.
that's my two characters.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Pete.
Kia ora, I'll be playing 3 characters tonight. The first is Leif, and he's from the Ain't No Place for a Hero party. He is also a warrior mage and also a half-elf. He likes to use a long sword, and he's a very friendly fellow. The next character I'll be playing is Mithan. Her race is High Man. She's not friendly at all. She is a ranger and is very good with a bow and has a small skill in healing. And the third character I'll be playing is Nicholas, and he's from the Twilight of the Old Order party. He is a mentat, which is a mentalism spell user, so his spells are to do with minds and people's thoughts and things like that. And he's a human. And he just he's starting to use his short sword as well, starting to train in that, but he mainly uses his spells and his whispering spell most of all.
Fantastic. And last but by no means least, Alex.
I play Keros. She's a North woman who is a storm mage. She's very fond of her ice bolt spell. She's quite emotionally labile, a bit naive, earnest, has a strong moral compass, and has a lovely little cat, Victory, who trots around behind her.
Marvellous. I think that's everybody. Going once, going twice, going... Nope, that's the lot. All 12 characters, well met all, well introduced. Okay. So hopefully you can all now see the map. And I'm going to do a quick, and I really promise, a quick run through. I'm going to even try to time myself to keep it to a minute or so. So, last session, you began with this huge, horrendous tentacle creature that was here, which had torn down all these walls, and this is looking into the complex that you came in, completely and utterly ruined from what you can see. This is from the outside looking in. Mithan had thrown up a second wood wall here to protect the party after the first one had been destroyed, and there are a variety of those smaller, horrible tentacle creatures running around here. There were 4 of them confronting Askell here. Some others you're assuming that's what they were, that were pulling on this door that Severin and Demos were holding. And things were looking quite precarious as we started last session. And then kind of into the mix came this strange halfling person, this half-dressed halfling that you'd seen a couple of sessions ago. He just appeared out of thin air. You found in this very bizarre place, this in-between, this space in between worlds, this fifth path, as it's called by some, that just randomly things just happen here, just for no explicable reason. And for some inexplicable reason, this halfling just appeared out of midair not so long ago. He went out in a huff outside, and then sometime later you heard some screaming and all the rest. And on the back of that, he came running back indoors, potentially being chased by these creatures. That halfling rushed out again being chased by one of these horrible little tentacle monsters. And when the others of these tentacle creatures saw the halfling, they broke off an attack from the door and on Askell to try to capture, and ultimately they did capture this creature and pulled him outside. Ultimately, when they left, the massive monster out here, this thing with you know clearly hundreds of feet tall, perhaps, that tore this complex to bits, vanished, as did they.
Where we go? Door frame. Sorry, guys. Earthquake here.
Oh, really?
Same here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, yeah, I can feel that too. I thought I was just imagining things.
I'm under the table.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't think we've had an earthquake mid-game before. Are you guys okay?
All good, all good.
Oh my lord.
That's a big rolling, still rolling. Stuff still. Oh no, she's still going.
Oh my goodness.
That was a decent whack.
Yeah. I'm gonna just click record. I'm gonna pause record there, and we'll come back to it in a second. Pausing recording now. Right, folks. Well, that was quite an interesting little venture into the real world for a second. Our good friends in Wellington just experienced an earthquake. We're now back into it. Everybody's safe and well and happy and all the rest. So I'll continue with the recording. So I was giving everybody just a very quick, and I think I was doing quite well of a bit of a précis of where things are at. Ultimately, the massive, horrendous tentacled monster that was out here left. You then, after a period of time, retreated, carrying unconscious people or dazed people into this room here, where you are now, where we'll start. And the very last thing that happened was, Nicholas, you sent out your ever-present whistling. And I'll put this on, actually, see if we can put this on first person for a bit of a drive-by. So hopefully this works. So the whistling went through the wreckage of these ruins. You saw down some of the areas that you'd seen previously. So this horrendous black mold that was here. And then down this corridor here, down towards these double doors, which have remained closed. The bars have been torn off this area here, and indeed a massive rent, a massive hole has been smashed through the walls into this room here, where the whistling saw, and actually for viewers' purposes, the whistling is a spell that Pete's character Nicholas casts. It produces a very small little ball of energy. It's the bane of the GM's existence, and I keep saying that each time, but it's true, but also well played by Pete, because it allows, when Nicholas concentrates, he can see through this whistling almost like a drone, and he can even interact with the world and attack. So using this almost drone-like spell controlled by Nicholas, the little ball came in here. It saw, and you can see one here, and then another one here, of these two horrendous creatures, like animated corpses that it had seen previously, lying trapped. Two of them at least, lying absolutely trapped within the rubble. Also coming through here was the corridor where these creatures the whistling had seen them come up from before, but then into this area here is a new part, a part that none of you have been into before, and it looks like a tentacle has just come smashing through both this wall here, and then indeed all the way through, massive power of this thing, through this wall here, and it has broken through into this space, which looks like this. There are two winged creatures, two very large statues here and here that tower up at easily 8 or 9 foot tall. There's another door here, and then down here is a flight of stairs just going down into the pitch, complete and utter jet black down below. The whistling can't see any further down there. So that's pretty much it in terms of the reconnaissance that the whistling is able to do. I'll take it back to third person now. You went into this room. You did some healing. Just on that, actually, we're going to start the game with going. Well, I'm not going to go through people's injuries, but just thinking about it. Actually, Tanya, well and truly 3 rounds, which was the remaining time that you had, would have gone past. So the good news, Tanya, is you're finally unstunned. So that will start you at that point. Others are feeling a bit groggy. Nicholas, you were quite potentially justifiably demanding in terms of some healing, which you got. And really where we finished the last session was Nicholas just quietly whispering what he could see through his little ball of energy that he sent through on the recon. And then Jadar, the healer, resting her hands on your where's Jada? There she is. Resting her hands on your unconscious guide, call her what you will, person, Afsun, who you met here, who's been providing you advice and suggestions of how she hopes to escape this place and how she might be able to help you escape this terrible place. Afsun was very badly injured when the wall came down, her legs at a very unpleasant angle. Jada brought her back to consciousness, and the very first thing that Afsun did was she looked up, smiled into Jada's face for a second or two, and right now where we begin the game is just absolutely horrendous screaming from Afsun. She's clearly in a lot of pain. So that's where we're about to begin. The Whispling is probably up to you, Pete, where it is. I'm assuming it's potentially still out in the ruins, and you're narrating what you're seeing. Others in this room, everybody has combined in here. All bleeding that I'm aware of has stopped. Some people are still dealing with some injuries, some aches and pains, but no one is bleeding. Before I start, any qualifying questions before we begin?
I'm just going to check. I assume Nicholas remained holding his lantern.
You haven't said otherwise.
Okay, cool.
Yep, let's go with that. Yes. And you can see him there with his trusty lantern. Any other qualifying questions? Nope. Okay, let's start the game. All right. So yes, indeed, this is where we begin. Everybody is assembled in this room. Nicholas, you've been quietly narrating what the Whispling can see. Jada, you've put your hands on Afsun. She's woken up, she's smiled for a second, and then she just starts screaming in agony. And the sound is awful. And looking at her leg, my goodness, it's a mess. Her left leg is kind of twisted out from the side in a very unnatural way. But the sound of her just echoes throughout this complex. We're out of rounds, so we're not going to go in round by round. But I will ask each person what their characters do. Top of the list, Graham, what are your characters doing in the next 10-15 minutes?
Etienne would immediately attend to Uxon and try and console her and he's not a healer, but he will obviously stand back and let Jada do a thing, but be supportive. Yathanor would is offering to sneak out and just check, go and help dispatch those creatures. I was happy to go ahead and stalk that. If anyone else, Severin's quite keen. Has also got a dagger of slaying. He'd be quite keen to go out and stab some undead, make sure they're doubly dead. And Tanya, when is ever convenient, would really like some hit points if someone was able to give us some.
Okay, cool, great. And she makes that known, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Fantastic. Okay, we'll roleplay that through kind of as and when. Pete, your 3 characters, please.
Mithan wouldn't hesitate to shut Afsun up by
Jesus.
Close her mouth and hand over her mouth.
Okay.
Wouldn't need to be gentle about it. If needed, and that was still quite loud, I suppose she would. Well, she hasn't got subduing, but is there any way of putting her unconscious?
Saving either sleeping her or whacking her on the head, probably not.
Would sleep put her under and keep her under, or would the pain wake her back up again? In Leif's experience, because he's the one with the sleep spell.
You don't know.
Okay. Well, Leif would be keen to do that. He'll sleep her.
No prep.
No. He would give one round prep and be touching her.
Okay.
Yep. And Nicholas will continue to be wanting to scout with the Whispling, especially with the noise, wanting to see if there's any reaction to that. But also would then he's not going to sneak out with the other characters if they express they're going to do that. But he would have the Whispling tail them and be lookout for them.
Okay. Could you?
They'd all 3 want healing as well.
Okay. Could you?
Yep.
Okay. just remember, guys, when you're saying something like that, all want healing, you've got to explain what that means in game. So what does that mean in game?
Sorry. So Nicholas, Mithan, and Leif would all request of Jada or of Mithan that they would like some healing at some point.
Okay, cool.
They would say, I'm feeling a bit bad. I'm down in hits, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you give me a perception roll, please, Pete, to see if the whistling... So I think we left it where the whistling was, fair to say, was probably around kind of here-ish. We didn't actually specify last time, so let's say, for argument's sake, it's there. Yeah, give me a perception roll, please.
86.
Okay. Mast, of course. And what is Nicholas's perception? Of course, he's looking through this, and he's looking in the dark, so it'll probably be reasonably hard to see. But yep, give me
33.
Cool. Cool. All right. Look, yeah, no, Nicholas can't. Peering through this tiny little globe, he's not aware of anything except for these two things here, this one and this one in the rubble. Basically, the little ball of energy that you're controlling is right above them. These two ones directly below you absolutely hear the sound of Afsun screaming, and basically make the fact that they're not happy about it, and kind of one of them tries to sweep up with its hand. Both of them are trying to get out. They're still clearly active, if trapped under the rubble. But other than that, Nicholas doesn't see anything else. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on up the list, Keros. Keros, you've just recently come to. You came to in the other room. You're feeling really groggy. You're still kind of piecing things exactly what's together, but you're able to function. You don't have any injuries. What do you do?
Well, she'd like to be asked to be put back to sleep, please. She's woken to some fresh hell, which she'd not like to be in.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably just take a moment to consolidate her surroundings. She might send Victory over to Afsun for kitty kisses and comfort.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, probably just stay put and keep putting it all together.
Okay. Victory, your cat, is firstly terrified of Afsun with the noise that she's making. Like, Victory is shrinking into your shirt. And frankly, by the look on Afsun's face and the fact that she's flailing around in agony, she probably doesn't want a kitty kiss right at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. The cat comes first, so the cat will stay with me.
Excellent. Cool. Very good. Moving on up the list, Gray. In the next, say, 10, 15 minutes, what's your plans?
He'd want to help assist with the chopping up of the things that need chopping up, and also be seeking some medical attention. He's not feeling too great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's probably the main things he'd be doing.
Okay. And when you say again seeking medical attention, what does that mean? Okay.
Well, he's not feeling too good. He's been knocked around. Some debris fell on him when there was a bit of a calamity, and so he'd be going to Jada to ask if she could magically kind of heal him, heal his hit points, so that he can move around and feel a bit better.
Cool. Nice one. Thank you. Going up my wee list, Demos. Next 10, 15 minutes or so, what's his plan?
Probably want to try and help with Afsun and telling her to not scream so loudly.
Fair to say by now, Mithan. It's been a couple of seconds, but Mithan has stuck one of her massive, and Mithan is huge, massive hands almost right over her nose and mouth. So the noise has probably been muffled for a start.
Okay. Then yeah, he'd probably just go and join the others to go and stab some stuff, cut up some pieces.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Just stab some stuff. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. And Jada and Askell, what are you guys doing?
All right, Eskel, like the others, so he'll be at the ready. He's quite keen to go and finish the nasties off before they get going. So he's sort of at the ready. Jada, she needs to do a couple of spells up soon as the most. And so get Bone Law from the Bone Mastery table and Muscle Mastery, Muscle Tendon Law. That will, give her a complete understanding of what's happened. Potentially some diagnostics as well, if need be. But yeah,
So
basically, assume is the priority.
Okay, so let's. This is not happening round by round, so let's do some dice rolls. What are you doing first, please?
Jada, she'll do the diagnostics.
Is that a spell or is that a skill?
That's a skill.
Okay, yep, give me a roll.
Right, diagnostics. 87, so I'm pretty sure she did all right with that.
Oh, yes.
Diagnostics is plus 84.
Wow, she's good. 117. Sorry, 171. Brilliant. So, actually, I'm just going to pause there for 2 seconds. Anthony, just before you joined us tonight, I was saying to the other guys, you had a great suggestion last time about diving into like a particular rule in Rolemaster. So some of our viewers, and in fact some of our players, may not be across all the rules, and particularly because this is a system that not a huge amount of people play. So the excellent idea to jump into, kind of do a deep dive on one aspect of the rules each session. So thank you for the idea. And tonight we're going to touch on healing. So actually, I've got the dice roll. It's 171 for that dice roll, and I'm just going to touch on healing a little bit tonight. I sometimes talk a bit much. You guys might have noticed. So Pete, can you please absolutely get a timer ready to go? And if I go past 4 minutes, please inform me politely, but please inform me to cease my yap, I think is the technical term. We're ready to go, guys. So it'll just be very quick. Good to go, Pete? Cool. So couple of things on health and healing. Some really kind of the main points are hit points in this game reflect both pain and bleeding and shock that a character can take. Once a character hits 0 hit points, they fall unconscious. So that in this game, they don't die if they hit 0 hit points. However, if they continue to take hit points, so that could be a combination of some nasty person continuing to stab their unconscious body, or they could be in a fire or whatever, but most commonly that's bleeding. So in other words, if you're bleeding at hits per round or hit points per round, there is a chance that your hit points will continue to go down. If your hit points from 0 go down to your constitution total, so this is the main statistic for your constitution. It's your temporary constitution on the main page. If they reach the total of that, your character is dead. So bleeding, and particularly bleeding a lot and being unconscious in this game, is often a death sentence. So when you hit 0 hits, you fall unconscious. If you keep going down in hits, you could potentially die. Another thing to remember in this game is when you reach either 75, 50, or 25% of your hits, your effectiveness goes down. And what that tries to simulate in the game is your character becoming weaker and more, basically dealing with shock and blood loss and just kind of a bit dazed. So at each of those stages, 75, 50, and 25, you lose firstly 10 for 75, 20 for 50, and then finally negative 30 for on 25 hits for everything you do. So that's mental and physical activity. So fighting, if you're on negative 20, less than 25% of your hits, you're at negative 30. Or if you try to pick a lock, you're at negative 30. So it really does help to keep your hit points up. Even going down past 75, you get a negative 10. There are 3 ways to die in this game. The first is we've already talked about, which is losing all of your hit points. The second, and by far the most common way, is through a critical. So as we've experienced for people that have watched this channel and people who have played, when you roll an attack, and if it's a good attack, you'll get a critical result. From the least severe as an A critical to the most severe, which is an E. When you roll that critical, that can be a killing stroke. So in theory, even though it's a relatively small attack, it might be a particularly effective one, and even with an A critical, that could be a killing strike. This game is deadly. The other way, the nasty way to die, the particularly nasty way to die, is soul death. So that is when, often through some very nasty spells or undead or other nasty, horrible things, they actually steal your soul. So 3 ways of dying: hits, as we talked about, criticals, or soul death. In terms of injuries, there's kind of 3 chunks of injuries. Light injuries are any penalties that are negative 0 to 20. So if you have an injury that's, for example, Grey has negative 5 currently, someone else has negative 10, those are considered light injuries, and they will typically go away by themselves in a few days. Anything that's bleeding less than 5 is also considered light. Medium is between 20 to 50 in terms of a penalty to an injury that you may have, and any wounds that are bleeding at 6 to 10 hits per round is a medium injury. A severe injury. We're at 4?
We're at 4. Sorry.
Thanks, Pete. Well, I
Good
barely even got going. Just quickly to round that off, severe injuries are penalties of negative 51 or above. So, Keros, you had a negative 90 before. That was a severe injury. And if you're bleeding at more than 10 hits around, that's a severe injury. I have produced, as I've done a few times, where's my camera? A wee quick rundown of how healing works in the game. I'll post it up and make sure that all my players have got a copy of it just for their reference, and also for viewers, if you want to get your head around how healing works in Rolemaster, that will be up online, coming to a YouTube channel near you soon. Right, enough of that. Thanks, Pete, for your timing and trying to rope in a GM that doesn't know when to shut his mouth. Anthony, Jadar did a very successful diagnostics on Afsun. Her leg is off to the side. Even with this poor light, with Nicholas holding up his lantern, Afsun can see from a bit of poking and prodding that that looks like her kneecap has shattered from what you can make out. And in addition to her kneecap being shattered, you think there's some pretty bad muscle and tendon injury there. So definitely some bone work that needs to be done, some shattered bone that needs to be repaired, and definitely some muscle and likely tendon or sinew stuff that needs to be attended to as well. She's got some other minor abrasions, cuts, etc., where the ball came down on her, but they're relatively small in comparison to that left leg. That's what you think. What do you do? And we'll continue with you for a second.
Alrighty. Okay.
Or do you want me to come back to you?
No. I better get through this. So I think we'll start with I'm going to need some help from other characters to hold her. We're going to need to move the leg back into place. It's probably major fracture repair.
Yes, it's pretty major.
Yeah, major fracture repair. So we'll start with that spell. But I think we'll have to get it in position first.
Okay. Mithana is there in attendance, and I believe others, Etienne, were around, so I'm just going to say other characters lean in and help Jadar where required, holding Afsun down. Mithan, you've got your hand clamped over her mouth. She's staring at you. She, her eyes are just opening and closing. You hear her gasping in pain, but she's in place. Jadar, you prepare for 40 seconds, and then you cast the spell. Give me a roll, please.
18.
18.
Yeah.
Plus 20. It's not a failure. Spell is successful. What happens?
All right. So major fracture repair is like minor fracture repair from the Bone Mastery spell list. Allows us to mean one simple fracture, not compound fracture, shatters or joint damage, etc. Yeah, so one simple fracture.
But this is a shattered.
But this can repair a compound fracture.
Okay.
As a major.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
So shattered. Minor joint repair. No, so shatter repair is a level 14 spell.
Okay.
Yeah. So be that. So probably need to do muscle repair as well. Straight afterwards.
Yep. So shatter repair deals with a complicated fracture. Is that right?
Shatter repair level 14 allows cast to repair any one broken or shattered bone, even in skull. So 1 hour operation recovery time is 1 to 10 days.
Oh, what was the spell that Jada just cast?
Major fracture repair.
Okay. It probably didn't do everything you needed to do because this was a shatter. Although Keros had a shatter cast on her knee as well, and that repaired it. I think it was the spell. So certainly before your eyes, yes, the bone and her leg seems to meld together. You suspect that actually you probably needed that more potent spell. On reflection, and Keros you might have too, but actually you were lucky. That was 2 injuries ago. You think she's probably going to have quite a severe limp as a result. She probably does need that shatter repair, but certainly the compound, the compound fracture repair that you cast on her will definitely help. She'll at least be able to put weight on the leg, but yes, she'll need some muscle and tendon repair too.
Yeah, so I can cast the muscle repair straight away.
Go for it.
No.
You are keeping track of her PowerPoints too, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Cool.
We're going to need some resting. So muscle repair 1.
Mm-hmm.
14.
14. Again, however, because you have prepared, the spell is successful. Mithan, you feel that Afsun's breathing is becoming less and less laboured under your hand, and her teeth aren't grinding as much as they were. So whatever Jadar has done, it's definitely seems to be making some kind of difference. And curiously, before all of you, for those that are in the room, her leg begins to straighten a bit, and the quite sickening angle it was at, it's not perfectly straight, but it's looking a lot better than it was. You think probably some tendon stuff would be useful as well, Jada, to finish things off.
Yeah, it's going to do tendon repair 1 as well.
Okay.
So we'll just follow that up. Hopefully we'll get a good roll this time. 99. There you go.
There you go. This isn't an open-ended or closed spell, but fair to say that was incredibly successful. And after that spell's cast, and is there a healing time on those? Does it give an indication of how long they take?
What have we got? Tendon repair. So muscle repair is recovery time is 1 day per muscle repaired, so it needs a full day. Same with tendon repair, 1 full day for tendon repair.
And the complex fracture?
Alright, let's jump back up. Major. Yeah, 1 day as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's maybe in better state, but it's still a full day.
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty whacked out, like post
Totally.
magical surgery.
So she being Afsun, kind of comes up and pats Mithan's hand, and is kind of trying to pull it away. Mithan, do you let her?
She'll say, "Are you going to be quiet?" Oh, she'll whisper that. You know, "You're going to be quiet," and she'll clear it.
God, is this Mithan's bedside manner? Is it?
Absolutely.
Nurse Mithan.
Nurse Mithan.
She's very begrudging in her healing.
Yeah, indeed. Mithan, Afsun can't understand Mithan, of course.
Nathan will do the whole finger to the lips thing with a questioning look. Like, just like, you know, you're going to be quiet.
Afsun kind of nods very, very weakly.
Nathan will raise her hand, but be ready to shove it back on her mouth if she's going to yell.
So Afsun looks up at Jadar and says in Thebronic, which I think Jadar speaks a little of, correct?
A little bit. Eskel is one of the main Thebronic speakers. Let's check that. No. Yeah, two. All two.
Okay.
But Eskel, he's in reach.
She just says,
even.
Better. Thank you. Better. And then just kind of passes out or closes her eyes again.
Okay.
She's absolutely covered in sweat. Her clothes are torn, and she's a complete and utter mess. And you can definitely see that the healing on the bone of her knee was not sufficient. Like the spell definitely helped, but it really should have been that more potent one, the 14. And on reflection, Keros, again, you dodged a bullet, as did Etienne, because really that should have been the same one for you. So she's going to have a heck of a limp, assuming she is able to, but she should be able to walk. Jada thinks. So that's probably taken a good 5 or 10 minutes. In the intervening time, some characters indicated they wanted to head out. So Niathanal was heading off. Demos was going too, I understand. Askel had indicated Askel was still speaking to Afsun. Anybody else going out to venture into the complex?
Severin was too.
And Severin too.
Yeah, if Gray can get some
Gray.
healing, then he'd be keen.
Okay.
So Jada will just say, after healing up soon, a lot of work there. She's very exhausted and probably only has one low-level spell left in her, and then she needs to rest.
You've got a whole bunch of patients that need assistance. Who's she going to choose?
Jada's going to need a sleep.
I reckon Keros is Keros on the lowest hits?
Yeah, I'm on 30 out of 41.
Oh, that's not bad. I reckon up soon then.
I also have some very basic healing as well, dependent on what it is, but obviously not as good as our resident healer.
Yeah, she's just drained.
Mithan can do 3 healing spells. I reckon Jada should focus on Afsun.
Okay.
With that regenerate. She can cast that regenerate spell.
She's only going to do one first level spell. That's it. So it's going to be
first level spell.
Wow.
Yeah,
she is tapped out.
Tapped out. So, and then she just needs to sleep. So up to 1 to 10 concussion hits is all she can handle at the moment, and that's her. And then it's be first aid type level stuff. So happy to do Afsoon.
Okay, let's keep things moving, guys. Fast, good game's a fast game. Jada lays her hands on Afsun, and yeah, what happens? For the 4th time.
She rolled a 16.
Second one of the night. Jada's not affected by double numbers, is she? No, because she rolled a 99 before, but no, that's okay for her.
Yeah, no, she was fine.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah, so healing 1, and it's 1 to 10 damage. Heal hits.
Give me a roll.
So I'll just roll that. Oh. 6.
6. Okay. Afsun kind of groans a little bit as Jada's healing hands go over, and she kind of, her eyes open again, and she smiles, but this time no screaming. Other actions for characters, please. Gray's indicated he's wanted healing. Others have indicated they're wanting healing, but people are running a bit low. What happens?
Mithan will offer healing to Gray and Tanya, and just the people who are looking the worst, basically. Just checking to see who's looking the worst, in her opinion. Gray and Tanya and Keros.
And Keros. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
So she'll prepare and lay hands on and stuff.
Okay. Who are you starting with?
Gray.
Cool. Give me a roll.
It's a roll of 79.
That is successful.
And sorry, it's not a lot of healing hits, but 15 plus 15 to him.
Thank you.
Gray, you're up to 65. You're feeling a bit better.
And Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
Same prep and everything.
Yep.
And that was a 67.
That's also successful.
And then she
Thanks,
heals.
Mithan.
Oh man, she heals a whole 7 hits. It was a potential of 3 to 30, but it was 7. So she'll do a second one on Tanya, I think.
Okay.
If that's okay, just because I think Tanya's way down. Sorry, Keros. And another. Sorry. Roll the dice. 85 is the roll.
Again, lots of healing spells going off. You
And,
really only fail on a 1 or a 2 here, but
yeah, and 14 hits healed.
excellent. So 7 plus another 14.
Yep.
Is 21. So 41. You're on 41 hits. Tanya, you're still feeling pretty groggy, and your chest, my God, your chest hurts. It's like your chest is on fire, Tanya. Every breath you take, there's pain. There's something definitely not right with your chest.
Have I had a diagnosis on that, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, well, maybe when everyone else is done, she might seek one.
Okay.
From Jada.
All right. Any other healing that I should be aware of? Any other dice rolling healing that I should be aware of? Nope. Okay. Gray had indicated he was keen to head out, as did Severin, as did Demos, as did Neathanel. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. So these 4 characters, these characters here remain in the room. You haven't seen anything different. Please tell me otherwise. Tanya, you'll get a diagnosis, assuming Jada is willing, in a second. And these 4 characters move into this now very familiar room here. There's the body of this horrible tentacle-thinged creature here. You move through, and anything. Oops, that critter is not there. Neither is that critter. Tell me what these 4 characters do, please.
It's all right with the others. Nathaniel will go slightly ahead and stalk, and get to sort of go slightly ahead, look around, and then beckon the others on, and we'll keep going in that, just in case, to avoid any surprises.
Okay. Cool. Give me a stalk roll, please.
$54.
54, sure.
plus
a lot.
a lot. 113.
Wow. Okay. What's her intended route, please?
Um.
So you can see here, this was the room with the columns, well and truly smashed. This was the room with the portcullis that you did quite a lot of shooting between, and Tanya actually got on. Ethel got on the other side of. Yeah, where does she go?
I think back through the room that we emerged from earlier. She'll take time to look around her as she goes.
Sorry, where? Which room? This one?
Oh, I see. Right, got you. Yeah, through there, through
Okay.
that room, back and then out through the broken portcullis.
Okay, cool. So she's not going through here. In other words.
No.
Okay, and I'm assuming the other characters are following along behind her. Okay. This door here was unable to be locked, so it's a very simple matter for her just simply to open this door. Oops. That's my thing.
Did she hear anything?
Give me a perception roll, please.
$48.
Plus
68.
As she comes out here, she can hear that kind of hissing or that breathing of creatures some distance off. You can hear it. You can hear it on the in the background there. She's not sure, but she thought she might have heard a clank of metal, perhaps over here. She probably comes to the door while she's doing this. Her stalk, by the way, was phenomenally successful. Yeah, she thought kind of in this direction, perhaps a clank of metal, but she can't be sure. There are, a huge amount of masonry has come down in, the last, call it 20 minutes, not even that perhaps. And bits of pebble, etc., still rattling down, so it could have just simply been that. So she doesn't hear anything. One thing she does notice, however, and it's only really until she's here, kind of peering, she's not out in this room yet, she's peering out of the doorway, is this colossal skull. It is massive, as you can see. And it's emanating this strange, kind of almost bluish light. And the really weird thing is, it's not resting on that piece of stone. There's a gap. Not a large gap. Maybe a few inches on the screen, maybe about that much. And it's just kind of sitting above the stone, which is really odd.
Is that changed from when we saw it before then?
No, none of you have really inspected it that closely, and no one has actually looked at it from this angle, or at least looked at it from this angle in a either been this close or have looked at it closely. You've had the whistling before, who's been flying around, and it hadn't noticed it before. It's the first time you've noticed it.
Okay. She'll beckon the others towards her.
Mm-hmm.
And point that out quietly, and also whisper to them that she heard a clanking and indicate where that was.
Okay.
From what she can see, I mean, she doesn't want to get too close to that skull.
Mm-hmm.
If she moved to her left, is there an opening there?
Let's have a look. So that's probably a reasonable view. You mean around here?
Yeah, I mean around the wall.
Yeah,
away from the skull.
Yes, easy. So there's clear floor actually. There's rubble here. she did spot, and by the way, perception rolls aren't too hard here, because relatively easy, even probably for humans now, because there's no wall here. The wall's just gone, and this kind of eerie, evil purple light is kind of emanating in. So, she can see quite easily. She can go along this wall. There's rubble here. She'll have to traverse. There's this strange kind of box that you'd noticed earlier on that was set next to a ewer, which is kind of half buried in the rubble, and she can just make out here one of these horrible creatures that appears to be trapped here. But yes, she can move along this corridor.
And is that creature within reach from this room or around the corner?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Is that creature in the same, I say room, remains of room? I can't quite make out if it's the other side, easier to get. Is the creature accessible from where she is up the top of that rubble?
Yes. Yeah. So that's just a pile of rubble that goes in, and the critter's there.
Okay. And has the creature, as far as you can see, got a spare arm, or?
This one doesn't.
No. All right. Well, she'll draw her short sword of slaying and set it to kill dead things.
Okay.
And try her best to creep up the rubble.
Okay. She gave a phenomenal stalk roll before. I'm going to say that gives you more than enough of your, so it's part of the same stalk. It's quite treacherous underfoot, but she gets up. This thing senses her approaching, and starts flailing around and starts making all kinds of absolutely horrendous noises.
Can I safely stab it without it flashing out at me?
Yes. Just before you do, any actions from either Demos, Keros, or Grey, who are at the doorway now. Now, bearing in mind, you need to try, if you can, to act on the action that your characters know. And the information your characters know. Sorry, Eden.
No. Gray would be silently trying to make his way in after Nathaniel, just to keep sight of her.
Cool.
And would maybe have a bit of a sniff as well, see if he could sense anything.
Yeah, give me a stalk roll, please.
You. 61.
Sorry, what was that again?
61.
What's his stalk, please?
Give me a stalk.
Stalk and hide is the skill.
Stalk and hide is 74.
Wow, he's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. So he is. You're pretty much silent. I mean, it is very, very hard to walk out over here with no noise. So you do make some noise, bits of rubble crunching under your feet, etc. But by and large, you're not silent, but you're pretty damn quiet. I'm going to say Nathaniel was before you, but I'm saying you're pretty much on par with her. You're about there. Demos and Severin. Demos?
I think Demos would probably try his best to be quiet and follow on.
Cool.
Behind Grey.
Give me a stalk roll, please.
Oh, sorry, hang on. It's a 1.
It's a 1. Can you roll again?
I'm so sorry, guys.
Can you roll again, please, Mace?
No.
Managed to stand on a discarded hooter.
Quack, quack.
76.
Hang on.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Uh-oh.
A 1 followed by a 76.
Yes.
What is your stalk, please?
He doesn't have a stalk.
Oh,
Really?
negative 25 on top of that as well.
Oh my god.
76
I'm so sorry,
plus
guys.
25. Okay. Okay. So, Demos, you creep out, your spear ready, your shield ready, but your big gargantuan beefcake frame, it just doesn't work. Like, oh shit, you shivers, you're putting your foot in the wrong place. Oh no, you really shouldn't put that there, because there's a you tread on that, and then there's a, oh, maybe not that, but there's a what else is there? There's that, and then you kick some rock, you stand on this portcullis here, it bends, there's a snap, half a dozen rocks come down, and there is a god almighty clattering. You make a hell of a racket. It reverberates throughout the complex. Characters back in this room hear it very clearly. Oh my goodness, what is that? And I might ask to see if characters would actually act on that. I'll come back to that in a second. Neathanol, Grey, you flip around. Severin, you're in the rear when you've kind of just seen this happen. And both this creature here, its head flips around, sees Neathanol. It had already sensed it before, but it's just frothing. And then there's another one over here. This one's got its arm free, and it's scrabbling and with the absolute cacophony that Demos has made. It's redoubling its efforts to try to pull itself out from under the rubble. Whoops. Gotta love rolling a 1. Severin, what do you do, please?
Starts banging his drum and and playing his bagpipes. I know he'll follow on. He's not too fussed about
okay.
Quiet he may or may not be. No, he'll follow on, but given the cacophony, I think he'll make up the rubble behind the other two and see if there's a way that he can assist, or if there's indeed this. Is there another way around, or is it the only way? It is the way, isn't it?
You don't know. It's certainly the fastest way. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, he will stab if he. I guess probably Neathanol will stab, and if she's successful, he'll move past to stab the other one.
Sure thing. Cool. Demos, any? We'll come to you in a second. You're probably just collecting your wits with that. That really was a lot of noise, clanging and banging. Neathanol, you're right above this thing. It's going absolutely. It's clearly very well trapped. It's going absolutely nuts. It's hissing at you. It's kind of, you're snapping it at the air. It's apparently completely helpless. A coup de grace roll from yourself. Anything other than a fumble will end this creature. Make a roll, please.
$36.
36. What do you do?
Relieve it of its not life.
It ceases moving in a horribly gory fashion. Yeah, do you want to describe it or not?
Just a very straightforward run through the face with a short sword of slaying. So hopefully that'll permanently put it out of action.
Okay. Cool. Grey, you've seen this happen. You've got. We're not going into rounds, but what do you do?
He would quietly commend on the wonderful stabbing that took place, and maybe do another sniff just to see if anything he can sense any more in the rubble that they need to maybe stab as well.
Okay, give me a roll, please.
$82.
82. It's masked. And what's his perception?
37.
Yeah, he just kind of gets kind of looking around and sniffing at the same time. Certainly, this one here, it's holding what was holding a mace or something like that. It definitely has a hand free, and it's trying to use its elbow to kind of shove stones off. It's making a little bit of progress. It still seems very, very trapped. So there's still one that's very, very active, and definitely trying to get out. This one here is not active. You can't see or hear any more of those creatures immediately in here. There's some other objects, some broken pottery, what looks like some arrows or something mixed in with the rubble over here. You can definitely smell something. You've detected it for a while now, Gray. The smell of kind of rot or fungus or something really just cankerous and nasty, but it's definitely stronger here. But other than that, no, you can't detect anything else.
Probably that spooky ooze.
Anything else from Gray?
No, I think maybe he could point out the other one, the one that's still kind of trying to unbury itself, and just ask if what do you reckon? Should we go for that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Who does it?
I don't have a particular weapon that kills undead things. Would my axe be okay?
Yeah, I think the reason we're using the undead thing is it seems to stop them from coming back. So if you attack it with its axe and kill it, we'll just re-kill it with an undead slaying weapon, is the way it seems to work. So I reckon go for it with your axe.
I'd love to have a chop.
Okay. You're next up, so can you just give me just a medium roll? There is quite a lot of rubble here, and it's quite loose underfoot. Can you just give me a roll to kind of make your way through the rubble?
Sure.
Sure he doesn't slip?
Yeah.
End up within biting range?
73.
73.
I think he's all right.
He's fine. So Gray, you kind of clamber your way over. This thing is standing above you. Its eyes are just radiating absolute hate. It's desperately trying to flail with its hand, trying to hit you. It can't, obviously. What do you do?
Just try and chop it. Chop, chop, chop.
Give me a roll. As long as it's not a fumble, this thing ceases to be.
11.
11. It was low, but it was low.
Are you doing anything with the double numbers, the 1-1? Is that thing?
Did it affect Gray? Oh, yes. Yes, it did.
He didn't have any things affecting him, but I thought we were doing something with the double number.
Yes, we are. A breakage check. Yeah. So we'll try a breakage check in a second. Okay. So for a start, that worked. And this thing ceases moving.
Good.
And it ceases. Yeah, it's just not moving anymore. So breakage check. Really, really simple. Firstly, can you roll? We know what's involved. It'll be your axe and potentially a bit of basically whether you've smashed it on a rock. Can you please give me a roll?
Yeah. 39.
Sorry.
39.
5-9.
39.
Oh, 3-9. Plus, I think you should be all right. For you need to top 101, and a hand axe is breakage strength is 72. You're fine. Yeah, so you bring it down. It was a little bit close there. You kind of nearly smashed it on the rocks, but it kind of glances off. There's a kind of a ching as the blade comes off the rocks. This thing is now very dead again. Nice work. Demos, you've kind of recovered yourself. Any actions from you?
Nah, he feels pretty embarrassed.
I'll get my coat.
Yeah, he'll stand and he'll be, I guess, like ready if something pops out, but he's too scared to move now.
Okay, stands where he is. All right. The rest of you guys, what do you do?
We hear any others of them?
Can't hear anything else.
Perception rolls for my two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Couple of you have already had rolls recently, so one for Severin, one for Grey. You've both done a couple recently. You didn't pick up anything. One for Severin, please.
33.
And that's masked.
And his plus on perception is 69.
Nothing.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
We keep exploring.
Well, I don't know. I think it might be a good idea to not overextend ourselves and actually heal up and go out as a party. That would be my vote. That would be Severin's advice, is that we're a bit buggered as a party. It might be better to sleep, eat, heal, and maybe... Now, Nathanel points out there's a box covered in rubble.
Does it look cursed?
Yeah, it's got a big curse me on the side. Shall we move the box? She'd like to have a look at the box. Can she have a look at the box without touching it, Chris?
Sure. Let's just go around. Demos, are you doing... We'll come to Nathan in a second. Demos, are you doing anything else?
No, he's happy to just follow the party. He's feeling a bit tired and still very embarrassed.
Okay. Okay, great. Anything else from you?
No. I think it was sage advice from Severin there. We probably should not go too far away from the healer. So he's happy to go back and have a bit of a rest and rest his bones.
Okay. Nathanel, you have a look at this. It says chest on screen. It's actually not a chest. It's a stone box. It's reasonably long. It'd be about probably about 4 foot long. It's you can see on screen there. It's partially buried in the rubble, but not particularly. Like some small pieces of rubble. It would be quite easy to uncover it.
She'll do so without touching the box.
Sure thing. Cool. Yeah, you brush the bits of stone, etc., off the top. It appears hard to see in this purple light, but it appears to be just a kind of a granite box.
Can she check for triggers, traps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give me a perception. Give me a detect traps, please.
Okay. '92.
92, nice. What's her skill?
Plus 46.
Probably that should be masked, actually, but we haven't played that before. Actually, from now on, detect trap... No, we have played detect traps and masked. I took that 92 as it is, but in future they will be masked, because of course you've got no idea whether it is or whether it isn't. In this case, you're pretty convinced that you can't see anything wrong with it.
Okay. Would it be possible to... can she see where it's hinged? If it is hinged, or has it just got a...
Yep. It's hinged at the back.
Could she go from behind it and make sure nobody else is in front of it?
Mm-hmm.
And lift the lid backwards,
Sure.
cowering out the way and suggesting everyone else does too.
Sure, done. Yep. The box creaks. Do I have a box creaking sound? I don't think I do. And this stone box opens up. And inside is a collection of tubes. They look like metal tubes.
Would I look to? I mean, do they look like scroll cases to me, or just tubes?
No, they're quite large. There's 8 of them in there.
Okay. Point this out to the others and suggest we take them back and get someone to check them out. What do you think? People?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Let's bring those tubes back.
All right. Well, she'll pick up a couple.
Okay.
Gray will help you take some.
So you're lifting them out of this chest, and you notice that they're each one is quite unusual. They extend. So if you take out like I mentioned the box is about 3 foot long, maybe 4 foot long. When you take one out, you don't actually realize it initially because you pick it up and then the bottom half of it slides out. So it's actually double the length. And it seems to be the case with each tube. It looks as though, and each one has kind of notches on the ends. They look like they, some of them at least, insert into each other.
Lightsabers. Well, let's just close them up and take them back, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did someone stick the second one with a slaying blade?
I just hit him with an axe.
Okay. So Nathan will go over and stick the one that was recently axed with a slaying blade.
Okay. Done. It was dead, now it's triple dead.
Excellent.
And you're going to make your way back to... any other actions, guys, before you make your way back to the rest of the party?
I don't know, maybe Gray has a little sniff of the tubes, just to see if he can pick up any, I don't know, bad stuff.
They smell wrong.
They
just, they're weird.
We bring them back as tubes, or we bring them back in the box, because maybe it's better to keep them in the box so they can't get out if there's something.
True. Can we lift the box, Chris?
2 of you could. These tubes are quite heavy in total, but yes, 2 of you could.
All right, we'll put them back in the box, and maybe if Demos' game, or Gray, whoever, certainly Severin will take one end.
Okay. And you start carting it back. You're just heading back the way you've come, I'm assuming.
And I think we'll leave it outside the room, if that's all right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Just as you're heading back, just as Demos, you came over here, I'd like all 3 of you, please, to roll a channeling resistance roll.
Oh no.
We'll start with... start with Gray, please.
72.
Okay. And what's his channeling?
Oh, sorry. His channeling is... Where's that? Channeling is 2.
2. Cool. All right. Cool. So, Gray, you feel... you almost feel as though someone's just caressed the back of your neck for a second, or maybe it was just the wind, but you're fine. You're fine. Nathal, please give me a roll.
$61.
What's your channeling?
5.
Okay. Yep. Yep. You're just continuing kind of watching the guys pull out this box. Severin.
9.
9. Okay. Okay. Plus, what's your channeling?
86. No. 15.
Okay. Cool. All right. We'll come to that in a second. And lastly, Demos, please.
I rolled a 4.
Yeah, great. Can you roll again, please?
No.
Actually, you don't roll again. Yes, you do roll again. Roll again, please.
37.
Yeah, cool. Actually, Severin, bearing that in mind, yeah, you as well. Severin, you almost feel kind of a tug, just for a second, kind of pulling you back, kind of this way. But then again, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a breeze or something. Demos.
Can I vocalize that to the others?
In a second. Demos, can you join me in chat room 1, please?
Ooh.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know if I want to be here.
What do you mean you don't want to be here?
I'm scared.
So you're here and you come over, Demos. You probably can't see the map right now, can you?
No.
Let me just. I'll need to put it on. I'll bring it on in a second. So you, you come back over and basically put your hands around the stone box and lift it up, and are helping the others out. When all of a sudden you pause just for a second. Oh my god! It can't be. But then you hear it again. Like quite clearly, from over here, from here he says, you can't see what I'm what I'm presenting. Hang on, turn on camera. You can see that now.
Yes.
Okay, so he's from over here and down. Over here and down, in the depths, down. Unmistakably, absolutely unmistakably, you hear the voice of Phaedra, your long-lost sister, the sister that you've been looking for.
I know.
For months now. Demos, brother, Demos, brother, save me. Please save me. They have me. I'm cold. Demos, I'm cold.
Oh my god.
Please save me. Please save me. And then her voice increases and she shrieks, "It comes again! It comes again!" And that cuts off.
Oh my god. Do I act? Can I act or do we go back? Sorry.
We go back to the room now.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Alright, see you there.
Alright.
He's back.
He's back. Yeah, what happens? Severin, you mentioned that something happens.
Yeah, I'll vocalize what I felt and thought, something was kind of felt like it was almost calling me. Are you guys all right?
Yeah, Gray would say, I felt too.
Excellent. Cool.
What about you? What have you been, Athanel? I feel all right. What about you, Demos?
Demos would start. I think he'd start panicking and very quickly speaking in his own language. So I don't know if anyone's going to understand it. But then he says, "Phaedra," and takes off.
Cool. Where does he go?
What did he say?
Phaedra.
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 Hang on, I can type it. I can type it when I.
Do we have an opportunity to take him down?
Where do you go, Demos? No, you don't.
go towards that little. Is there like a little door there?
Yeah.
Can't really see. I'm pointing with my mouse. Yes, there.
Give me a maneuver roll, please.
Violet.
No. 78.
Yeah, you're fine. So, Demos, you go kind of darting over the rubble. You turn the corner. So there was you can see the remains of it. There was a wall there, and here there are two massive. Demos is quite a big guy, but you can see there two massive statues of what appeared to be women dressed in cowled cloaks with wings on their backs, kind of their heads bowed, and a door through here, and these stairs that go down, where you heard it, down. What do you do?
Who? The rest of us, or
No,
Demos?
Demos at the stage.
I think he'd pause and just make sure that he heard what he thought he heard.
He did, without a doubt, absolutely without a doubt. No doubt about it. No question about it. Clear as anything.
Oh my god, he'd go down. He'd
Cool.
go down.
Yeah, cool. Excellent.
See you guys.
Cool. So, shield and spear in hand, Demos starts heading down into the gloom. There is still, you can actually see here on screen, a reasonable amount of light coming through from the outside. So, Demos, you actually have some view of at least part way down these stairs. The Whispering ultimately ran out of light, and you will too. But at least initially, you can see where you're going. You head down, and you've definitely got more than a head start on your companions. Severin, Niathanal, Grey, you're in the process of lifting up this box. Severin and Grey and Demos were indeed doing that. So Grey, you're over here. Niathanal was kind of on assistant duty, and all of a sudden, Severin, something happened. Grey, maybe, I don't know, something in the back of your neck or something, and then suddenly Demos's head just rockets up. He says something incomprehensible in Thebronic. I don't think any of your characters speak Thebronic. So you don't know what he's.
Nicholas does.
You're not there, Pete.
And the Whispling's there.
Sure, but you're not there. So something inexplicable to these three characters, and then he says Phaedra, and he just rushes across at great speed. Actually, he makes a surprisingly good roll across the rubble. He pauses for a fraction of a second here, and then he just turns, and you hear his heavy boots start going downstairs. What do your characters do, please?
Severin's doesn't speak much Thebronic, but he does speak a 2.
Okay. So give me a roll. Give me a roll. Have to be a pretty amazing roll, but let's.
41.
41. No. Mason, is there maybe a word, perhaps 2 words that Severin might have picked up in your babbling?
My sister.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Right. So Severin, you've learnt. You just hear those words, my sister, and then the word Phaedra, and Demos runs. What do you do?
Can I run after?
Sure. So.
Yeah. I'll attempt to bring him down.
Grey, what are you doing?
I guess he would lower the box and
box,
run after too.
The box is dropped with Demos. Demos just let go of it and moved. Grabbed the spear and moved. You'd go after.
Yep.
Cool.
with his axe ready.
Cool. And Neathanel?
Yeah, response. Try and block. Bring him down, or
No,
prevent him from moving.
He's gone. So he had the jump on you well and truly ahead. Those 3 characters didn't have a chance to act. So he's definitely through here, and you've definitely heard him starting to go down the stairs. But you can go after him, for sure, as declared. Right, at this moment, we're going to head back to this room. So, normally, just probably for viewers' benefit, normally, if the party was split like this, I would take the party into separate rooms. There are a lot of characters here. Frankly, it's going to take too long, so hence the reason we're just doing it with everybody listening in. Other people in this room, there firstly was an absolute cacophony of noise, a huge amount of noise. Any reaction, any other actions that's going on here? Characters include Jada, Mithan, Leif, Keros, Tanya. Afsuna's kind of dozing in and out of consciousness. Askell, Etienne, and Nicholas. I'm not going to go around everybody, but please leap in if your character does or says anything.
Nicholas would have used the whistling to see what the noise was.
Okay. So Nicholas,
and then report back. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually have been communicating this to people. All right. So while your companions were heading out, perhaps before Demos runs off, any other actions I should be aware of? Anything, any requests people were making, or anything people were doing? Oh, okay. Don't be shy, guys.
So, I mean, if Etienne's not busy, he would probably. I mean, there's nothing he can do right at the moment. So, I think he might, if on the report from Nicholas, I think he would. If he'd seen something, he'd go out and see if everything's all right.
Okay, based on what?
Based on whatever Nicholas says.
What does Nicholas say?
Oh, Nicholas would say, "Oh, whoops, that was Demos not stalking."
Okay.
Everything, and then he'd probably followed up with, "Looks like they've dispatched the 2 undead.
Mm-hmm.
They're investigating a stone chest."
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah, give a bit of a running commentary, but I think that the impression I got was that things were fine. But
okay. Any actions from Keros or Askell or Jada? I just want to make sure everybody has a chance to speak.
So Jada is probably more just continuing to tend to Afsun, just basic sort of thing, and because she's feeling exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Askell, he's he's just standing at the ready, really. He's heard that noise. He's heard what Nicholas said, but he's just on guard because Jada's exhausted. Asun's still out, so you've got a number of people that are a little bit out of action. So don't want to leave all the wounded behind, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Sure thing.
So he's just holding.
Cool. All right. And Keros?
Probably still a bit dazed and confused, and would want to stay with the group. Wouldn't want to be left alone with the creepy noises.
What's creepy about this place? Don't know.
And screaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And screaming. Yep. So Nicholas, you've been relaying this, and then you see Demos kind of start. Demos drops his end of the box, much to his companion's surprise, and then very quickly just rockets over the rubble before anybody can stop him, and heads off into the gloom in the direction of the stairs.
Nicholas would probably exclaim, and if he picked up the same thing as Severin about something, him mentioning his sister, because he's got a level 2 in the Bronic as well, if the whispering, have you heard that? But would say Demos has run into the dark section.
Okay.
They'll need some light, is what he would say. And probably would proffer the lantern basically. To if people are going to exit this room, he'll proffer the lantern for them to take, and his intention would be then to light another lantern or light a torch, so they've got. But he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay here.
Okay. What do others do, please, based on this information?
As Etienne would act, he'd take the lantern and go.
Okay. So with a copy, paste. Whoops. No. I was meant to do the whole thing. No, never mind. Okay. It's not going to play.
2 lanterns.
2 lanterns. That's not what we need. So, Etienne, you grab a lantern. I don't quite know why that didn't do what I wanted to do, but that's fine. And do what, please?
I think it's logical to go the way he already knows, so he'll go through I think he would do that. Go through that room rather than go into the collapsed rubble place.
Okay.
And then make his way through to the main chamber. See what's going on.
Done. Cool. Other actions from anybody else, please? Keros, Askell, Jada, Leif.
Mithan would light her lantern, and she's intending to stay. She will. Leif would follow Etienne.
Okay.
Yeah. Mithan would make sure the door was closed.
Okay.
After anyone who's leaving has left.
Okay. Sure. Cool. Leif goes with Etienne. Anybody else? Askell, Jada, Keros, going once, going twice.
Keros is staying.
Cool. Okay. All right. These two characters make their way through. They head through here. Obviously, events in the other area will have overtaken them. Oops. But we will come back to them. So basically, you're moving through here at the moment. Any other actions other than Jada looking after semi-conscious Afsun, Keros sitting there kind of patting the cat and looking dazed, Mithan closing both doors and lighting a lantern, and Nicholas doing the same thing. Anybody else doing anything I should be aware of in this room?
Mithan would have his sword out.
Okay. Cool.
Sword and shield.
Cool.
Yeah, same with Askell. He's just there's a lot. Yeah, as I said earlier, there's a lot of people sort of out for it. So just and he's got a few damage as well, but not getting healed anytime soon. So he's just resting.
Cool. All right. Great. All right. Back over here. So your companion, who was standing here, has just raced off. You were also surprised. You just simply didn't get a chance to act. You now can all three of you, I believe, are heading off after Demos. I suppose we'd better go into rounds. Just trying to think how best to do this. Yeah, that's probably the easiest thing to do. Okay. Ethanol, you're first to act.
So, she would like to use 25% of her round to move very quickly indeed. And at the point that she's reached 25% of her round, she'd like to know if she can see Demos.
Okay.
And then she'd like to act again.
Okay. 25%. So, bearing in mind she's on rubble, but give me so you could move from walking to jogging to running, so she could probably run a maximum of times 2 her
or would it does a acrobatics move help?
Certainly.
I mean,
acrobatics.
she would try something quite spectacular. Obviously, she can do all sorts of kind of tumbling. So, she could go head over. I mean, she can do all sorts of maneuvers. So if there is a maneuver she can think of to propel herself over the top of that rubble using 25% of her round, she'd do it.
Oops.
If not, she'd just
Move it. Yep. Got it.
Conventionally.
Yeah, cool. I think she'd probably need to be running to do her tumbling or have some momentum. So from a standing start, she'll probably be better just simply to move. I'm going to say because of the rubble, it's normally it'd be something like a routine or an easy to do what she's trying to do. I'm going to say this is a medium. It was for Demos. He happened to roll very high. Give me a roll and let's see how far she gets in 25%. So like 2.5 seconds.
67.
67. What's her moving and armor skill, please?
Well, she doesn't have armor.
Oh, so what's her agility?
Her agility is plus 35.
Cool. Okay. 80%. So she manages to move 80% of what she would normally do at a run. What's 80%? Oops. Damn it. Wrong one.
So she moves at 69 around. Run is what, twice that?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so look, you want us to move a quarter of that and see. So easily.
138.
Yeah, so it's difficult terrain, but she kind of hauls herself up onto the rubble. She's pretty nimble, pretty agile, actually pretty much the way that Demos was. He actually ran a little bit further down, he kind of ran round. But yes, you succeed in doing what you wanted to do. You move 25%, which you've just done, so you get to there in 25%. And you see Demos barreling. Well, no, up to Demos how he's moving, but certainly moving down the stairs. He's down to about there at the moment. You've got 75% of your turn left to act.
If she cast an instantaneous spell, that's probably the best thing to do, isn't it? Chances of me taking Demos down. Let's have a little think.
It's actually probably a bit further away. Yep.
Okay, I'll cast in front of Demos. A spell in front of Demos.
Okay, 10% action. Give me a roll, please.
Gesticulating and all the rest of it. 77.
Yep. The spell is successful. Well, sorry, it goes off. What does she cast?
She's going to cast Solid Air Wall immediately in front of Demos. So it's 10 by 10. Blocking the passage down.
Okay. Okay, well the spell certainly was successful. Boomf. There is now an air wall. Demos is actually a bit further down than that. He'll take probably a fraction of a... He's a good probably 15... Yeah, probably about 10, 15 foot down. You've cast it a bit further in front, so about 20 foot down. It'll take him a second or two more to get to it, but yeah, he'll hit it kind of any second.
Okay.
Cool. So that was 25 to run, 10 for the instantaneous spell. You've got... am I right? Yeah, 65 left to act.
Yeah, I think she'll move in behind him and probably wait and see what the others to catch up. so that they can coordinate grappling the guy.
Okay. Cool. Next up is... It's great.
Cool. Yeah, Gray would be bolting as fast as he can. Yes. Yeah, he'd be going at a run.
Cool. Give me a roll.
Cool.
It's a medium for him too.
Sorry, my computer is just...
No worries.
E89.
What was the roll? Sorry.
29.
2-9. Cool. And what's
Yeah,
his
2-9.
what's his agility, please?
His agility is a plus 20.
Plus 20. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, Demos just finds this just hard going. Basically, he slips, he stumbles on the gravel and on the rubble. Just the footing is quite poor underfoot. What is his base movement rate, please?
Whereabouts would that be? Whereabouts is base movement? There we go. 55.
55 times 2. So Gray only manages to make it around 40% of what he'd normally run. He basically there's just a lot to trip and slip on. So 40%, certainly easily more than enough to. Oops, that wasn't Gray. That was Gray there. Certainly easily enough to get him to the stairs, and so easily to get him to there. He can continue down the stairs if he wishes. He won't quite grab Demos this round. Demos is a little bit in front of him, but he should be able to grab him next round, depending on what Demos does.
He'd be heading to help wrangle Demos.
So he heads down the stairs. Cool. All right. So basically, hot on Demos's heels. And then lastly, Severin.
Likewise, yeah.
Give me a roll, please. $35 plus you're moving an armor, which is plus 0. I know it's a positive, but it shouldn't be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
35, bang. 20%. So what's 20% of? Basically, he's clanking away in his metal armor. The stones are pretty hard for him to get over. How far is 20%, please, of his base movement at a run?
Base movement is 110 at a run.
So
20%. 22.
22. Cool. Severin, brilliant. You get to here. Clunking, clank, 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 running through the rubble. And actually, it was Demos next. Sorry, it should have been Demos next. Demos, you're heading down the stairs. You hear footsteps behind you. You hear some kind of incantation probably go off, and you can definitely hear that someone's behind you, but unless you tell me otherwise, you're going down.
No, yeah, he's going down.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's got to find her.
So he gets down to about halfway down. Well, don't know it's halfway, actually, but around 20 foot down. And then something bad happens. The very first thing you're aware of two things that happen. And they happen not quite simultaneously, but almost. Demos, you put your foot on something on the stairs, and a part of the stairs moves in a way it shouldn't, and you hear a very distinct click and a whirring of machinery. That's the first thing that happens. And then you kind of crunch up against some invisible barrier directly in front of you. What's the description of the air wall, please, Nathaniel?
Shimmering, transparent wall of highly compressed air. All attacks through the wall are at -100. Spell attacks -50. Attempts to move through the wall require a very hard strength maneuver and take 1 round to complete. Light-based attacks are totally immune and not affected by the wall.
Cool. Thank you. Cool. So the very first thing that happens is this something goes click underfoot, and there's, you just hear this brief whir of machinery, and then, like, not even a split second later, he hits this wall. Can I have a very hard, would you say a very hard strength maneuver to get through it, Graham?
Yeah.
Cool. Can you give me a very hard to blast through this barrier, please, Demos?
$96.
Roll again, please.
Oh, for God's sake.
15.
Plus 15. Plus, what's your strength?
My strength
Yes.
is 30 plus 33.
He's very strong. 144. Oh my goodness. 100%. So what happens, this sequence of events, is firstly, you step on something, there's a click, then your body, Demos, hits this kind of barrier, but you forced your way through it, and then suddenly there's and the stairs that you're standing on and the stairs that poor Grey behind you are standing on are no longer stairs. They fold in. If you can look at the camera, if you imagine a set of stairs, they fold in. So this one comes down, this one comes down, this one comes down, and they form a very, very, very steep slope. No longer stairs, but the actual steps, the individual steps, through some crafty mechanism, changes. And in a second, that click that you heard, suddenly, and Demos finds himself hurtling down, and Grey find themselves hurtling down at speed down the slippery slope down into the blackness. Demos, and we'll come to Grey in a second. You have a very hard, based on your moving and armor skill, which is, I believe, +0, and then an extremely hard to avoid falling down. So 2 maneuvers. First, a very hard, and then an extremely hard. Roll the very hard, please.
Who?
That's not good. Roll again, please.
41.
Ouch. 2. In your desperate attempt, Demos, you slip. You kind of reach for the side as the stairs are no longer stairs, but they turn into a slope. You reach for the side, and there's a horrible, sickening pain. Ah, God! In your ankle, that really hurt. You're at -30 for any rolls, and you take 15 hits. And you're at negative 30. Ouch. And you fail, I'm afraid, on that attempt. The second one, and this is going to be at negative 30 because of that injury you just sustained. This is going to be an extremely hard. That was a very hard before. This is an extremely hard. Go for it, please.
63.
63 minus 30 is... yeah, that's a failure, Demos. And you go hurtling down into the blackness, and I'll take you into the other room to describe what happens to you in a second. Gray. You are moving it. You are absolutely fetching it. As to quote my wife, you are desperately trying to catch up with Demos. When all of a sudden, you hear this horrible clicking noise, and the stairs are no longer stairs beneath your feet. You need to roll you have 3 maneuver checks, 2 very hards. Three maneuver checks in total. The first is, if you fail that, you will then hit this, not that you can see it, but this invisible barrier, and it's possible that invisible barrier might stop you, but if you fail this first one, you will have built up momentum, and it will be easier for you to punch through this invisible barrier. So 3 rolls in total, 2 very hards, and then an extremely hard to avoid slipping down into the blackness, as Demos has just done. If you fail the first very hard, you will then hit this invisible barrier, and that could possibly stop you. So make your first very hard, please. It's based on
37.
37 based on your agility.
77.
Oh, 77. Good. Yes. Plus.
Yep. My agility is plus 20.
Plus 20. 97 total. Gray. The 97 total. Yeah, your wits are about you when this happens, and maybe the click alerted you or something. But yeah, you have a chance. You have a 60% chance of basically grabbing onto something or holding onto something or something preventing you from slipping down this slope. 60 or under and you're good. 60 or over and you're not.
Sorry, Chris, just a quick point of information. The wall is shimmering. It's transparent but not invisible. Just if that makes a difference.
Cool. Go for it, Gray.
Okay. 48.
48. That's successful.
Nice.
So Gray, you this horrible noise. Demos rockets off. You see him. You see him, and he comes up to this shimmering. Thanks, Graham. This kind of shimmering wall, blasts through it as he slides down, and the last thing you see. You've got elven eyes, so you can probably see. You see him hurtling down another 20 or so foot down, and there's this yawning great pit at the bottom of these stairs, and Demos heads straight for it and goes into it. You, however, Gray, leap to one side, and basically by the skin of your teeth, your fingernails, your whatever, you grab onto something. Maybe it's like a chunk of rock which was slightly poorly masonry out, and you're hanging there, holding yourself. Your feet are kind of dangling down the slope. There's that shimmering kind of wall in front of you, probably about another 10, 15, well, another 5 foot down, and you're about 15 foot down the slope.
He's used all his ability to do anything, hasn't he? He can't try anything.
This round,
Yeah.
he's good, but he's safe currently.
Okay.
Demos, for the second time tonight, can you join me in chat room 1? And can I just say, by the way, excellent role playing in terms of what your character would do. Can you join?
Bad luck.
And bad luck. Can you join? Can you join me in chat room 1, please?
Thanks, guys.
See you around, Demos.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Oh.
Hello. Dear. Hello. I mean, well done. I'll say it again. This is great role playing. So Demos, you hurtle down into the pitch black. Your mannish vision, is gone. But you are aware suddenly you're no longer sliding. You're no longer there's suddenly nothing underneath you, and you're falling, and you're falling, and you're falling, and then there's a smack as you hit the ground, solid rock. Can you roll, please, a plus 40 full crush attack on yourself?
Oh my god.
Roll it low.
44.
44 plus 40. What armor type is he in, please? He's in
Leather, lamella leather.
lamella leather. That's it.
Yeah.
There'll be it. Perfect. There's a number next to it. I think it's 10.
Oh.
AT10.
Sorry. Yes. Hang on. Rigid leather. Oh wait, where am I? I'm looking at my rigid leather skill. Is that what I'm?
No.
Sorry, no, back up.
Were you read leather? Yep.
9A.
9A. 9. Thank you. That's what I was after.
Sorry.
That's it. No, all good. Crunch, Demos. Not perhaps as bad as it could be. 15 and a B crush critical. Demos takes another 15 hits.
Okay.
And he's on 66. Now, you got roll a B crush on yourself, and you're wanting low. Roll of crush, please. This could be fatal, of course. Give me a roll.
Fuck. 91.
I'm going to ask you a really important question.
No.
Does Demos wear a helmet?
No. R.I.P. Demos.
Okay. Demos, your head hits the ground, and you know no more.
Oh dear. Kind of exciting though. That's his first death.
Didn't say he's dead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, he's just out. Well.
Wham.
Yeah.
Crunch. Blackness. More blackness. I'll see you back in the main room, please. Just one request, just for the sense of kind of mystery and gaming. Probably don't tell the others, if that's all right. Can you resist?
Yep.
Cool.
I can resist. I'll just be quiet.
Nice one. Thanks. Nice one. Join you in the main game.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Hopefully, Nicholas is watching.
Yes, but he won't be able to see much.
All right. GM's back. GM's just going to head to the loo. Back in a sec.
Chat room 2.
Yeah. How you doing, Mason?
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
We're okay.
I noticed you rolled a 44 rather than a
2, like I rolled before. Honestly.
I was thinking like a 33 or an odd double, because then you'd be sinking into the ground too, right?
Yeah.
Injury.
Oh, God.
All right, Superman's coming to get you.
Can't wait.
And he's unlike at the actual Superman, he's just wearing his underpants, not even on the outside of his clothes.
Who knows what that wind will do? What wind will do to that as well?
Wow! I mean,
She'd be
Neathanol's
right off.
Neathanol's blushing at the thought of it. Actually, she wouldn't give a shit. Let's be honest. You're not her type, anyway.
Fair enough.
You could do an airwall limbo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, it will only have gone to the. Well, no, actually, probably because it will have gone to a surface. In fact, yeah, I don't know that you. Be interested to know what gap there is under the air wall, right?
Yeah, because if the steps above that place were a slope, then I reckon they would have slid under.
Just, yeah. But I mean, yeah. I mean, you probably just about get under it.
But I think Neathanol should
shot.
cancel, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, if it's... I suppose so. But it stops anything else coming out, but or anything else falling down, but possibly, if you can hang on to it. No, all right, I'll just cancel it.
All right, folks, GM's back. Tanya, sorry, let's try that again.
I
Neathanol.
need our screen back, by the way, Jim.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Good reminder, I always forget. Just coming. Here we go. Thank you. That you should be good with that now.
Yep.
Great. Neathanol, you have just seen exactly this happen. You've seen Demos disappear into the gloom, and this horrible, sickening thud as he fell. You, with your vision, have seen Demos go over the edge and into this pit. So in total, there is. You can see probably a bit more down in the gloom, but you probably require a perception roll. But you have at least seen Demos go to the bottom of the stairs. It's about 40 foot long, straight down, quite steep. You've seen him fall into something. You've seen about 15 foot down the top of the stairs from you, Gray hanging onto this piece of stone for all he's worth. Somehow, you don't quite know how he managed to twist himself in such a maneuver, but he did. What do you do, please?
Can Gray get back from where he is?
You don't know. It's certainly looking pretty steep. You'd need to make some kind of maneuver to get up.
Well, if I can assist in getting Gray, I guess a couple of things, right? I would like to assist Gray.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to stop Severin barreling around the corner and going for a little slide himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to do a combination of those two things. So signal to Severin to slow down.
Sure.
And then perhaps assist Gray. And if it's easier for the stronger Severin to assist Gray, then that would be better too.
Okay. So probably don't need...
Or both of us. But...
Okay. How to assist? So firstly, you kind of hold your hand up to Severin, and admittedly there's still another 10 foot. You can see it on the map here. Probably Severin wouldn't actually necessarily barrel down the slippery slopes, but you definitely warn him. You put your hand up and, basically cautious or whatever you say to Severin as he comes up. In terms of assisting Gray, so Gray's 15 foot down on a very, very steep stone slope, holding on for dear life onto this little knob of rock. In, call it 90% of the remainder of Neathanol's round, what does she do?
How much lower is he?
15 foot.
15 foot. That's not going to work then. Just wonder if she may risk another cast. But actually, probably Gray could do that himself. But then it'd be a bit of a risk. Well, the wall's still there. What gap is there under the wall? I mean, presumably there is a gap, but what kind of measure are we talking about?
The wall that she cast?
Yeah.
I was musing on that myself. Some, but not a lot. So not enough for a body to slip through, because Demos needed to kind of push through it, and Grey would need to push through it. So I don't know, call it, that much.
Oh, sorry, I need to look at you. What's that much? So if he fell, he
Yes.
might not go down the thing. He could probably.
He might not. Your wall might save him, but it might not.
Mysterious. I'm just checking on minor locked door. It's just for. I think that just propels me, but I'm just checking. Caster. Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have a spell that can. If I cast, is there can I get myself? Is there a step down before the slide?
No.
No.
The whole thing straight down.
If I dangle my, no, it's too far down, isn't it? 15 foot. She'll risk a cast anyway.
Okay. Does she prepare? Not you can see the stairs, but if you could see the stairs.
They're not there.
No, this is kind of what's happened, and I think this is quite nasty.
Oh, what's that?
If you go into chat.
That doesn't look good.
What does she do? Moving on.
Okay. 15 foot. So she reaches down. He reaches up. That's not quite enough. All right. I think she'll just be there to help Grey if he. I think she'll prepare. She'll start preparing, but she won't cast.
Okay, done. Thank you. Great. So you've managed to save. Oh, Grey, you back? I saw something about you needing to go out and see a man about a dog.
Yes.
Excellent.
I found the dog.
Excellent. You have just managed to save yourself from falling down and having the same fate as Demos. There's this 5 foot below you is this kind of shimmering wall. It might stop you. It might not. You would have built up a little bit of momentum to kind of push through it. What do you do? You haven't said otherwise, so in my head, Grey's still got his hand with his axe, but realistically, probably to climb out of there himself, he'll need to ditch his axe or do something with his axe. So he's holding on with one hand at the moment.
Yeah. You'll probably have to. But if he drops the axe, what if it lands and slices into Demos? Would be good.
Might be Demos's least of his problems, to be honest.
This contraption looks quite brutal.
Yeah.
Could he like hitch it to his belt or something, or his loincloth?
Or lob it back up the stairs, right?
And maybe lob it back up the stairs. Say, watch out.
Yep.
And wondering if. So he's just holding onto like a brick or something.
Yeah, basically, he managed to. If you look at that image of that horrible contraption, it's basically flush. But Grey just managed to fluke it, find a crevice, maybe a piece of old stone that's crumbled away. Basically, he's holding on by his fingers on one hand. It's not a very secure grip.
Right. I think he might have to drop his axe.
Okay. There's a clatter clunk as it heads down. Yeah. Ow!
Ow! Just seeing if there's it would be better just to cast a wee fly on himself. because he's holding on with one hand, he probably doesn't have time to prepare a spell. So I'd say he'd probably just have to cast it on himself.
Go for it. Casting
Okay.
with no preparation, always risky, but go for it. Give me a roll, please.
He's gesticulating and he's shouting and he's having a real go of it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Toes. 14?
14. Negative 30. Plus... What level is Grey, please?
6.
Plus 6. Plus 5 for shouting.
Oh. Gesticulating.
And just...
With his other hand.
With his other hands. 10.
Yep.
So literally, a 1, 2, 3, 4 is a failure.
Yeah.
You got a 5.
Hey!
Way!
By the skin of his teeth.
I believe I can fly.
by 1 point. By 1 point. Great. The spell goes off.
Magic. That's fantastic.
What
Okay.
happens?
He just becomes weightless and he just suddenly feels quite at ease.
Okay.
I guess he would probably, now that he doesn't have to worry about falling, he'd probably kind of go to... Are those blades above the... No. It's just... Oh, okay. So he would just fly towards that like little mouth of the hole and have a look down to see if he can see Demos in that pit.
Okay. He'll have to push through that barrier, which we can come through in a second.
Yes.
But we can come through that in a sec. Demos, Severin, you come kind of puffing and panting, clanking, clank, 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 and your plate mail up behind Neathanel. It was only a very short distance across the rubble, although you're not moving very fast. Do you say or do anything when you arrive?
I think he can already see surplus to requirements. He will draw his sword and stand guard and look all around him in all directions.
Cool. All right.
And actually, if he can, activate his sword so there's more light.
Sure thing.
So cast on his sword, essentially.
So make a casting roll. Please.
Yeah.
Is that a preparation spell, though? That is, isn't it?
It's a off an item.
Yes.
Do you have to wait for an item, or is it
Instantaneous.
same thing? Is it?
No. You do prepare.
Well, he better prepare them.
Okay. Back to the room. By now, Leif and Etienne, you guys are... Whoops. You guys are crossing the rubble. Coming in here. We've kind of heard noises and you're heading in this direction. Any actions other than just simple movements coming from you guys? You can hear movement on the way through. Leif, Etienne going once, going twice.
Did we hear? I mean, did we hear anything from? We heard. Are we made aware of anything else?
No, nothing else.
We'll keep going then.
Yep. Okay. Back in this room, and sorry, it's been a bit of a quiet game for both Askell and Jadar and Keros and others. Any other action from these characters in this room? Anything you're doing, saying, narrating?
Yeah, Nicholas will continue to say what he's seeing through the whistling.
And where is he positioning the whistling?
Strangely, he'd like to have it moving between the head of the stairs. He's wanted to keep a watch out. So hopefully he's seen Demos do his sliding trick. But between the head of the stairs and the gap in the rubble where the dead things were, because he's wanted to keep an eye out on that sort of area.
Okay, so kind of around here.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So you're narrating back quietly to those in the room of what you're seeing. Any actions from anybody else in the room? You saying anything, doing anything?
I think we're doing our healing thing, aren't we?
Yeah, I was going to say, no, she's not sleeping, but does just general resting count towards any sort of recovery?
Of hit points, absolutely.
Yeah.
Resting for 1 hour, not that time matters in this place, but resting for 1 hour recovers 1 hit point. In terms of power points, which I think is what you're asking,
Yep.
power points, you need to sleep an entire night, so no, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, anything from Askell, anything from Keros. I'm very conscious this has been a very quiet game for you guys, and I want to make sure that everybody gets some airtime.
Not from Eskel. It just, yeah, he'd just be resting. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing from Keros?
Yep, Keros is all good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. You're wanting to make an attempt to get through this wall. Give me a strength roll, please. I think you said it very hard, Graham. Is that right?
Great.
If he goes through it, yes. But yeah.
Yep.
Would he be
Very
able to
hard.
call out, actually, sorry, before he does it and just say, can you get rid of this?
Yes, I can.
Okay. You dispel it?
Yep.
Cool. And what do you do, Gray?
Yeah, he would fly over to see if he can see down the hole and see if he can see Demos.
Sure thing.
His elven eyes.
Yes, and there's enough light and enough information for you to see. All of this complex is old, but there's something about stonework, the feel of it, the sense of the area that you're in. This particular place is old, even than old. Like, this is ancient. This goes beyond time. And there's something about going down here just makes hairs on the back of Gray's neck stand up, and goose pimples come up over his arms and around his neck. This is not a good place as Gray goes down. He flies to the bottom of the stairs. You can see there on the map it's 10 foot wide. Sorry, no longer stairs, slope. 40 foot all the way down. And a couple of things that Gray sees. The first is just this yawning pit. It is going to be even with elvish eyes. You get to a point where it's just pure pitch blackness down there, I'm afraid. So you can't see anything more other than blackness. What you can see on the last few slivers of light coming in above you is directly in front of you, where the slope, where the stairs formerly, but where the slope ends, and the ground should have begun, is this pit. So the pit is directly at the base of the stairs. The pit itself is 10 foot square from what you can see, and it fills out an entire corridor. And immediately beyond the pit, there's no ledge, no nothing. Immediately beyond the pit is a set of closed double doors. Unfortunately, peering in, it's just too much. You're too far down, and even with elven eyesight, a human definitely wouldn't be able to see the doors. No chance of it. No chance. You can, but the pit looks very deep, and it's too deep and too black. Like, it just goes down into pure black, and elves can't. No one can. Well, elves cannot see in pure blackness. Of Demos, currently, you can't see anything.
Sorry, so the doors, where are the doors? Sorry. I'm just trying to figure that out.
Sure. So if you imagine, maybe if you look on screen, you can see, if you imagine the slope comes down like that, where my hand is. Yep. And then directly in front of the slope, so the slope is here, directly in front of the slope is this yawning pit, 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot. And then on the other side, of the pit, so further side away from you, over here,
It's the doors.
is a set of double doors, correct.
Okay.
Everything else is just smooth stonework on the way down.
Righto. I'm just having a quick wee scan of his things, because he could potentially try and enhance his eyesight, because he has stuff to do that.
Just while you're having a look there, puffing and panting, I'm not going to ask for maneuver rolls, but one arm, whoops, that torch shouldn't be there. One-armed Etienne, one-handed Etienne and Leif come puffing up behind Severin and Tanya, and probably in hushed whispers they're filled in on what's happened. Any actions from any of these 4 characters now at the top of the stairs?
Leif will begin preparing.
Okay.
And it's also some conversation about what happened, and maybe, I don't know if people are able to mentally kind of prepare themselves. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe kind of Severin is going to kind of start singing a Tama folk song to himself and to fortify his brain while he looks around to check there's no nasties coming.
Okay, sure thing. Cool. Guys, look at that. It's bang on 10 o'clock. I know Alex, quiet game for Keros tonight. I know you're wanting to head to bed. I'm actually feeling great, and I'm happy to game for another half an hour. I'm also very happy to knock it on the head there. What would people like to do?
I probably should do some work so that I can go to bed before 12.
Cool.
I'm happy for anyone to play Grey if they want to.
Yeah. I need to shoot off. Busy couple of days.
Cool. We'll leave it there. Done. That's it, guys.
Thank you.
That's our game.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Hope.
Sophocles, Vader.
Yes, please. Sophocles and and Vader.
Sophocles to Grey for a fantastic save and saving thing, and for a good fly spell.
Excellent. Well deserved. Well deserved. And Vader?
Vader. Okay, let me think. I'll come back to you.
Come back to us. Okay, cool. Mason, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
I say, like, if this game is about role playing and about playing in as your character would do, nice work. Maybe not what the player would do, but what the character would do, spot on. So I say well done for you. And
happy to give Demos Vader for that. I think for sure.
That wasn't meant to be a lead. That was
no. I need to collect my brains. That's all good.
Okay. Well, there we go. I say very well deserved. Nice work, Mason. There we go, guys. So inching forward into this complex and straight down for some of you.